show is they don't even know there's discrimination in Japan. They think it's an American problem because we got, Martin Luther King died. And it's always tied, because it was black and white, race and that's America. It happens around the world, but, America, we do what we do. We like to tell our story, right? That's why we vlog, right? We like to talk. We like to hear ourselves. So he made this video. He showed the kids. Good response. He put the video on YouTube, and he subtitled everything in Japanese. So he gets all these comments, and then it's like, it was crazy because I was watching with my girlfriend, and I'm watching it, and it's like, I like watching the comments. The video content, that's great, but what are people thinking about it? So it was like split right down the middle. One half was saying, "Oh, that's so nice. I wish I would have learned about this when I was growing up." These are Japanese people. "Oh, I wish," or Americans, but they're like saying, this was really good. He's a good teacher. He's bringing a subject that doesn't get talked about in Japan. I've been in 7 schools, and I'm not in every class, but I'm pretty sure they don't bring up discrimination. It's not something that's important, being in kind of this culture that in Japan it's kind of everyone looks the same, so why are we going to talk about it? But I have noticed that within my class there are the cool kids and there are the kids you get picked on. There are the smart kids. There are little groups, and some get it worse than others. Japan has a pretty interesting bullying system. People do get bullied. I heard stories over the years of being here, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But it's not something that is talked about. Like in America, we had like these TV shows, after-school specials, where they were dressed, and that's why you shouldn't bully people because da-da-da-da-da. So I think most Americans have a sense of, let us right what is wrong. Maybe the Superman complex. So he makes a video, and some people are like, that's great. We need more teachers like you. Then the other half, I don't know if it's 50-50, but the other side was, who do you think you are trying to educate another culture? Would you like it if another culture came and educated you on? And they're getting in on it. It's like, oh, dude, that's the problem with Americans. And then he also got these crazy right-wing internet people who, they took it up another notch. They started emailing him, emailing his company, emailing his former companies, just throwing out these cyber bullets. And he's dodging like, but they're hitting other people, like his coworkers and everyone else. And it's like, come on, dude, you got to take this video down. And then, I commend him. He's like, yo, I'm not taking this down. Which is great. And I think he's going to lose his job. But I don't know. I'm in my opinion, I think he'll lose his job. And I think it may be difficult for him to get other jobs because they're using his real name. They found his real name and they're just posting up there. But I do think, Martin Luther King got shot. He died. And some people, I'm pretty sure there were some people like, well, if he would have just shut his mouth, he didn't have to go up there and talk. He didn't have to get 1 million people to tell him about his dreams. I'm pretty sure a lot of people around him, also, they maybe not have got killed, but they got the threats. They might have lost their jobs because, so it's pretty, I'm pretty sure if this gets bigger and bigger, they're going to make a law that, it might change the curriculum. Like, yes, you can teach English, but you can't teach this. Yes, you can put up videos, but if you put up these time of videos, we will take them down. Like, Google, YouTube is not, or Japan YouTube is not going to have our backs, us being the vloggers. If they can get up to that level, above him, can you take this video down? That video will go, pew! The end. They might even delete his account. The end. And the end. And it's crazy because, at first I was like, man, that's messed up. Everybody is just getting on him. He's doing a good thing, man. We need more people like him. But then, arguing the other side, I don't think it's right that he put the video on YouTube. He has no right to put, he didn't ask explicit permission. He didn't get signed. I mean, the kids' faces are not on there, but touchy situation. So they could probably, if it goes to court, they could probably get him on that point alone. Just, you don't own this space. Take it down. And then also he's imposing his views. Again, this is a tough one, because this is no different in my mind than if you were back in the 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, slavery days, right? And you see, so say we're slave owners, and you see a slave getting his ass beat. Pow, 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 pow. Now you could, so other countries would be like, that's not right, but that's the way it is at that time. Now, of course, I would be a slave, so I'm not like, oh, that's great. I'm just saying at that time, that's what people did, and that's how it went. So someone is just like, oh, you shouldn't do this because I feel this way. Who are you? This is how we do it down here, boy. Go over there. Now, in our country, we had fights about this, civil wars and all that. We got over it. We moved forward. We try to make it balanced, but it's very difficult to. It's humans. We're humans. You know, get two kids, they will fight over anything just because they're kids. Well, we're just human kids. We get older, but we still think like little kids sometimes. So, who is he to tell Japan what they should do or what they shouldn't do? Who's America to tell all the other countries with sweatshops, oh, you shouldn't do that because, you know, Japan, America has a lot of skeletons in their closet, and we don't really listen to people telling us, oh, you shouldn't have done that, and da-da-da. So it's a touchy situation, even though it is wrong to have slaves, so that person is not like crazy, like he's a human person. You should let him be free. What are you talking about? He's not like that conversation. Or, you know, when in Germany, similar. Actually, this happens like everywhere, all the time, everywhere. There's a group of people being persecuted, discriminated, killed for just something, and it's not fair, but that's how it is. And then we can go in there and be like, that's not fair, but that's it. For it to change, we would have to like get in there. Like we have to dig a little deeper, because that's just surface stuff. You know, if they're building their whole industry off of child labor, then it's probably because they don't have an economy. We got to figure out all the points of why this is happening. Just seeing, stop that. We stop one factory, they open another factory. You know, shit like that. So, so I commend him, because one way to change the dynamics of Japan, racism and all that, is start with the kids. Kids are very impressionable. And if you have a chance, I'll put the link in this video. There was a video he showed the kids. It was back in 1960 or whatever. And this lady, everyone's white, so this lady divided the class by eye color, blue eyes and brown eyes. And one day the brown eyes were like dirt, so the blue eyes would like, they get extra recess time, extra food, and they were treated better. Oh, good job, guys. And you can see within a course of a day, these kids, the brown eyes, they were like, ooh, their heads are down. It was really sad, because, I mean, I know it's, no, it was really sad. It really touched me right here, because I know it was just an experiment, but it worked. That's all I want to do, is show an experiment where people can see the results of stupidity. So these little brown-eyed kids were just like sad, crying, and the blue-eyed kids became more evil. Now, 5 minutes before it started, they were all like buddy-buddy, brown eyes and blue eyes, brown eyes and blue eyes. But then after the teacher said brown eyes are shit, blue eyes are gods, they started acting that way and started tormenting these kids. They started calling them names. They started thinking up ways to make their lives miserable, even though they were friends. And you can see this throughout history. I won't go into it, but in history, once one group is elevated, the other group will get the. And it was also interesting is then they reversed it. So now the brown eyes are on top, blue eyes, and now there's this kind of like revenge. Some brown eyes were just being evil because yesterday you were evil to me, so I'm going to get you back. And another thing that was interesting was their grades. Just the way that when the blue eyes were on top, their average were higher. And then when the brown eyes, academically, they were smarter, even though nothing changed. And then if you put this on like a global scale, like in so I wanted to test this theory out. In my city, I was looking up some stats about education. Because I told you my school sucked. And there was, they break it down, white, black, Spanish, Asian, mixed, blah, 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 blah. And in Pennsylvania, in every category, it'd be like, so underperforming, it'd be white, 10%, black, 25%, history, 10%, 26%, all the way down through all the grades. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, because we all go to the same school. It's not like we're this school over here. We're in the same exact school, but it's crazy. And, I mean, just one little tiny story. My brother, he came to, like, my brother's from Jamaica. He came to America, and in the school, the principal would always kind of, you know, my mom was always going in there to be like, what did he do now? And the principal's like, well, he just came in there and started shouting. And then my mom's like, what, you're saying my son was suspended for like 2 weeks? And then he walked back through the door and just started shouting. Ah! And the principal's like, well, no, there was other kids. And then my mom's like, so the other kids are also suspended? Like, well, no. And then the principal was like, he was like, well, your son, he's a very nice guy. And then my mom, I love my mom. This is where I probably get this from. My mom was like, so you're telling me that my son is a nice guy, but if he doesn't get his diploma, can he get a job by saying, oh, my principal said I'm a nice guy? And then the principal, I wish I would have been there. If I could go back in time, I want to sit there like this. So the principal's looking at her like, no, she didn't. No, Mrs. RG. Yeah. But that was the school that I went to. And my brother ended up leaving the school and going to like a private Catholic school, where if you do stupid shit, you got to pay money. So if you're suspended, you got to pay for that. So it kind of kept him a little more focused. It's coming out of his house, you know. He's working, you got to pay. So he graduated. So he came back to the school because, you know, he has friends still there. And the principal's like, so, what you been up to? And he's like, oh, I graduated. The principal laughed like, no, you didn't. He's like, yeah, I did. I graduated. So I can see where this one group is getting lower grades and the other group is getting higher grades. And we're all human. We all bleed shit, love, dream, and all that shit. So it really gets to me, because like it's big. So to sum all this up, so when people are getting on there, oh, there's no racism in Japan, there's no racism in America, do the research. There's so many examples where it's there, and that's what it is. What we need to figure out is how to change that. How to make it so everybody is on equal ground. Because shit, if you start off lower, there's more chances you're gonna... Some people, you put them on the ground, they're not getting up. They will make a home on the ground and make do with what they have, and then you trip over them. And it's like, oh, why are they on the ground? Because they never got the legs to walk. So I'm going to end with that because it's probably a very long video, and I just want to get these things off my chest. Alright, thanks for watching. Subscribe, tell your friends, favorite, and all that other good stuff. Leave a comment. Check out the video. I'll put that link down there. Alright, peace. Rhyming. Cheer.